170. Hi, Halcyon Days. And then how are you? Is the washing machine really loud in the background? Starving. Oh, I need to dye my hair again. Someone's phoning me. Typically, my dad wants to FaceTime just as I start broadcasting. Hi, Judge. I'm back so soon, can you believe? I feel like now I'm on the horse, I have to keep going. If I start letting it slide, that's when it all goes downhill. May not be a particularly long one right now, but I want to get in the habit, you know. I actually ended up, after I came off stream last night, I went on to OJ Miser's Google Hangouts thing and stayed on there till like 2 in the morning. Can you hear me okay, or is it really loud with that washing machine? I'll shut the door. Oh yeah, and turn off the cat's drinking fountain. My cat has a drinking fountain. Crazy, huh? How are you guys? Not saying anything. Typity type type. Oh, this is so good. Hi, Daphne. You guys seen these things? It's so good. Oh good, I'm glad. I typed it and then my son was like speaking to his grandparents, dancing to, you know, the Sing soundtrack, the film Sing, for ages, and I had to get him off there to get onto here. I'll get him to come in a minute. So I'm back from Manchester. Oh no, just because it's just chickpeas cooked in like spices and stuff. It's nice though. Although really hard some of these, so you have to be careful. If you don't have strong teeth, I don't advise trying them. I don't know what qualifies something to be accidentally vegan. Unless all food is intended not to be vegan. It's kind of just food, isn't it? Thanks for inviting fans. I love crunchy things. Because it takes longer to eat as well, makes it feel it's more satisfying somehow. And they take forever to eat, so you could eat 10 packets and they're only like 88 calories a packet. Yeah, you're right. But these, I think you get these, the only place I've found you can actually get them in the shop is in Holland and Barrett, which is a health food shop, so lots of the stuff in there is vegan. They've stopped doing, there's a braised tofu, can't remember what brand it is, Marigold? Braised tofu you get in a can, and that, I know that sounds horrible, but it's a really nice texture and the marinades are really good, but they've stopped selling that in Holland and Barrett, so I'm kind of disappointed about that. I need to find somewhere else to get it. Hi Ruru. Do you like my new kitchen? I'll show you around. Oh, I'll wait till we come back. You can see the wallpaper in the background. Got gold bits on it. And lights will actually work. Point. Point. I'm just cooking my son's dinner. Standing around in my kitchen. Considering having a beer or something tonight. As it's Saturday. Is it Saturday? Yeah, it's Saturday. And I just got back from work this morning. So I feel like a beer may be deserved. But I'm just trying to drink less generally because I don't think it just drains all my energy and it makes my pain worse. If it builds up to a level, like a few days worth of drinking, you know, even half a drink too much and not being hydrated enough, I think really doesn't do good things to your muscles. So I'm trying to, you know, maybe not drink all through the week and then have a couple of beers on the weekend or something. I'm not someone that gets drunk ever, really. Rarely ever drink too much. But it's just, I think you get into a habit of having 1 or 2 beers in the evening. It's just like a chill out thing. Or whatever drink. And even that, although that doesn't feel like it would be really bad for you, I think it's not great to not have days where you don't have any alcohol. So I'm trying really hard to be better about that. Oh. I think the captain's in too. So Ruru, where are you from? How old are you? Tell me about yourself if you're still here. Anyone who's in the chat who hasn't been in before, say hi, introduce yourself to us so that we can be friends. No, it's not moving much, is it? There's hardly anyone here. It's probably a bad time, but it's only going to be a quickish one. Oh, so I'm going to show you my kitchen. Brand new kitchen. Wait till I just lick the stuff off my... Okay, the tour. Starting with... Oh god, this is difficult. Okay, so... Stand over here. As you can see, it's like cream with white subway tiles and solid oak work surfaces. What else? And yeah, and this wallpaper, which is like, can you see? It's kind of, can't really see because the lights are not on. Let's put some lights on. Dimmer switch lights. Whoa. And then one of these weird tall radiators. This is so hard to do with a laptop. So yeah, that's kind of the new kitchen. The sink is like white. The tap is like speckledy. I don't know how to describe kitchen stuff. Its work surface is nice, huh? So it looks like a show kitchen. It feels really weird that I live here. I'm still getting used to it. And then just show you. Here. And I like, my hob is like sort of it looks a bit like a record player. It's very retro looking. And then the cooker hood is matching. Cool, huh? Marks out of 10 for the amazing kitchen transformation. You wouldn't have seen it before, but it was like a floral hell. Not good. Because the people that owned this house before us had not decorated since it was built in 1997, and they were very Laura Ashley inspired. So it's nice to get rid of the flowers. They also had like dried flowers, bunches of dried flowers all around. You know that gap that you get at the top of the cupboards, all around there. So just awful amounts of dust and yeah, not good. So what do you think? I've got to put a picture up or two on the wallpaper wall because at the moment it just looks a bit weird, a bit sort of blank, and it's really echoey in here. But I really love these cupboards because they're like cream gloss and they're handleless, and it's got like, okay, I'll show you this sexy cupboard arrangement here. So we have like pull out spice rack. Can you see that? There you go. And then this kind of cool corner cupboard that comes out and then it flips around and all your saucepans slide out. It's amazing. Because before it was just, yeah, well, you know how kitchens get. And it was like that. It was just cupboards full of crap and everything was disorganised and we couldn't find anything and it was terrible. But yeah, cool. I'm very happy with it. I was hoping that we would all be sitting in here as a family all the time, hanging out in here. But we're not yet because we don't have a nice table or comfortable chairs. So currently we're not doing that, but we will be. hopefully. Might even have some friends round for dinner or something. I haven't done that for I don't know how many years now. I get the fear if I have to cook for other people, and I tend to screw up whatever I'm meant to be cooking. So I remember trying to cook this pie for some friends that came over, and it was like a solid rock piece of pastry on the top of this pie that I made. It was just a bit embarrassing because I only made as many as we needed, so there was no spares, so everyone just had to have the ones that I'd made. Really embarrassing. Can't open this now. Aha, here he is. Say hello. Can you get me a knife out of here somewhere? Oh, here's one. I'm just making your dinner. Oh, you're a psychology grad, Halcyon. Oh, how much for the dream kitchen? Well, oh, also there's a cat.
Can I talk to you?
You can talk to them. Put this drawer in, then they can see you. Put that way. Put that back in.
They say yes.
Yeah. So this is Albie. He is. How old are you?
4.
And where are you going for the first time next week?
School. I said amazing.
It's amazing. It's not amazing. It is amazing. You're going to enjoy it, aren't you? Yeah. So the dream kitchen was about.
Here's what eat it.
Yeah, but you can't eat it raw. It's rice noodles. It was about 8,000 all told, and that includes because you have to. We bought the kitchen stuff, and then you have to pay for the labour, and then you have to pay for the floor, and there was a few extra bits and pieces because when they took the floor that was there, the laminate up, the floor underneath wasn't. It needed to have plywood before you could put tiles on it, so the tiles don't crack when you walk on them. And also, when they took the tile, don't open the bubbles. Not now. After dinner. When they took the tiles off the walls, the plaster basically just crumbled away to nothing, so they had to replaster the whole room as well. I need to put this on something. So, so yeah, that's how much it was. What are you doing for your PhD? Hi Chase You. Hi Darthria Huz one. I've been meaning to try and start doing a PhD for ages, but I'm just. I thought I knew what I wanted to do, and then I just couldn't really. I didn't feel impassioned enough about that particular thing to go ahead with it, and also it's a lot of extra work on top of having a full-time job. So I ended up not doing it, but I may do it in the future. I'd like to. I am very chuffed with it actually. I've never been a homeowner that's needed a kitchen. I've only been a homeowner twice, and the last place we had was brand new, so obviously the kitchen, we weren't looking to replace that. But here, we basically had to redo most of the house, so I am very chuffed with it because it's exactly how I wanted it to be. Obviously, if I had all the money in the world, there would be other things. Like I wanted to have an island, and I wanted to, have more shelving. We will be putting up more shelving, so that's why it's still a bit echoey in here. What are you doing? Are you blowing bubbles at me? Come and blow some bubbles on camera. Come and stand over here. Woo! Woo! Emoting regulation strategies during mania episodes in bipolar disorder. That's cool. So, I've done emotional regulation within DBT context. I have no idea if that would be effective in any way for bipolar disorder, because it's less about mania and more about kind of spontaneous emotional reaction, which I'm sure you know about DBT anyway. But That's really interesting. How long do you think it's going to take you to finish? Now what are you getting? Don't get passata out. Hey mister, wait, your dinner's going to be ready soon. Don't start getting dried pasta out. That is lasagna, dried beef. That's rice noodles. Don't eat them. Ugh. They'll scratch around in your tummy. Oh God, I've probably seen all of those 9/11 documentaries. Every time I watch it still now, I feel exactly the way that I felt when it happened. Because I was 21 at the time and I was doing my second go at college. And I remember, because we didn't have phones, or obviously we did have the internet, but no one really used it in the way that they do now. So it was just on the TV in the college library, and everyone was standing around. Then we went home and watched the news for 3 days straight. No, we're not opening that now. You can have that afterwards. Right, do you go and wait for your dinner to be ready? No, we're not having that now. She's going to have dinner. Are you watching Leo the Wildlife Ranger? You're not going to have a tantrum on here, are you? Everyone can see you.
Mummy's a bit different a little bit.
Mummy's a bit different. How am I a bit different?
And Grandma's a bit different every time, and you know.
Can you do your song for them?
There's no as this as a kid that you was ever happens on my mind. I was just sad.
Oh wait, no, leave that. That's a pumpkin sword.
Oh, that's mine.
What? You can have these magnets.
Magnets, so they stick together.
Yeah.
I can't get them off it.
They're strong, aren't they? Gosh, 3 years seems quite quick. Don't put them in your mouth because you might swallow them. I don't want to have to sieve your poo because there's a magnet in there.
You get it out on each other.
Just you have to push them like that.
Okay.
Okay, you do them.
Hey.
They do still stick together every time you put them close together. Yeah, he is very hungry, but he has had lots of food today, so he's not starving.
Hey.
You can't get them apart.
Yeah, I want you to do all of them.
Oh my goodness. Well, if the thing is, we've got these magnets, and they're super strong. So you have to keep them really far apart from each other. Don't put them near phones or anything either, because it will break. So no, it doesn't go near iPads or anything. Okay?
Okay.
Here you go.
Next one.
Hmm?
Next one.
If you put them close together, they'll get stuck together again. Hi, Anna B. I'm just getting these. Yeah, that's what I said. You can't stick them near to each other because they look. Ready? Hey, look. We can do this trick where. Oh. Turn it the wrong way and repel it. Whoop. Oh. Don't put them in your mouth. You'll break your teeth, or you'll swallow a magnet. Oh no, we don't cry, do we?
Let's stick together. Now I want to stick to something else.
What are you going to stick them to?
Yeah, there's 3 of them each other.
Yeah. They only stick to, what do they stick to? Do you remember?
Stick to shiny things.
Yeah, what are the shiny things made of?
Glass.
Metal. So, oh, that's not metal. Okay, there's nothing here that's metal, so that's not going to work. You're going to have to go find something in the living room. But just listen, be really careful. Don't put them near your iPad, okay? Because they will break your iPad.
I want them to get apart each other.
I wish I'd never given these to you now, because it's just going to cause a ruckus. Hey, I'll tell you what. If you put some in there, and then go like this. Ta-da! Magic!
It can come out. Wow.
That's crazy.
Oh, why? Get up. Go.
The fewest likes you've ever seen in a broadcast, so that is not good. Even with this, look at this cute person. Like it up for him. How can you not like this?
How do you not like Mum? But Mum always puts it in there and she's silly.
I'm not silly. How very dare you?
She always does that.
Ah.
Silly Mum.
To be fair, it's probably bad timing.
Hey, Mummy, I couldn't get them out. Hey, Mum, you are magic.
I am magic.
Well, they didn't.
I'm magic mum.
They didn't pop out. See? You
Right.
were wrong.
Am I?
See?
What do you want to do with them now? Gotcha.
Hey.
Oh no, look. Look at that face. Oh, look at that face.
Mommy.
Yeah, I know, but I can't really do 8 or 9 p.m. tonight, so that's why I'm just doing a quick one now. But like I said, I will. I'm going to sit down and work out what nights are good to do. Might have to shift it around, so it will just be like minimum 2 nights. But if no one's liking it, then I don't know why I should bother.
Mommy, it's silly bum bum, Mummy.
Silly bum bum
Oh,
mummy.
is this
Who wants to watch Silly Bum Bum Mummy, eh? No one. Hi, Ismail.
Everybody wants to grab your bum.
I beg your pardon.
Everybody wants to grab Mum's bum.
I can guarantee no one wants to grab my bum. Leave
Mum
my...
does!
You leave my bum out of this, cheeky monkey.
Got
Yeah. Where's your bubbles? Where's your bubbles gone?
They're out in the room.
Okay.
Yeah!
See what I have to deal with. Just trying to make him dinner, and
Did
he's
you do it now?
lobbing bits of cardboard at me. It's nearly ready. Do you want to go finish watching your programme?
Why did you not do those?
I can't do them. They just keep sticking back together.
Well, I just want one of them.
All right, I'll give you one.
So
There.
1, 2.
Right, take the rest away then.
Actually, I just want 2.
And we just check this is
I want
cooking.
2, Mum. 1, 2. 2.
2. There you go.
2. That's shiny.
Magnets. Woo, it's nearly ready. So I am cooking non-vegan pizza for this small person that I didn't buy, my husband bought. So, you know, call me names if you want. I don't mind. Not that anyone has. I had an interesting chat last night with Owen Mizzen. Is it Mizzen? Mizzen? I don't know how to pronounce it. About parenting, and he was kind of saying, you know, if his kids grow up, he's going to raise them vegan because both he and his partner are vegan. They're going to raise their kids vegan, and then he was saying if their kids decided they wanted to try meat, there's drama from the magnets. Then, right, should we put them away now because they're just causing drama, aren't they?
No.
If they decide in the future that they don't want to be vegan, he will explain to them that there'll be consequences, as in, you know, that it might affect their relationship. And I'm not really sure how I feel about that because well, because my husband's not vegan, and so to him, cheese is, you know, he eats cheese. We don't really have meat in the house. No one buys meat, but he does eat cheese. So he obviously, you know, like when he buys things for my son, he buys non-vegan things and I buy vegan things. But this is the issue. So speaking to Owen last night, he was saying it would affect his relationship with his kids if they decided not to remain vegan. Whereas, you know, for me, it's a completely different situation. Oh, hi, Mark H, by the way. It's a completely different situation because I wasn't vegan when I met my husband, and I wasn't vegan when I had my son. I've only been vegan for 2 years, so it kind of would be hypocritical for me to then demand that he becomes vegan when he hasn't kind of gone through, you know, I arrived at the decision after a lot of thinking over like a year or so. And had someone been badgering me about doing it, I probably would have, rejected it out of hand, just because it would have annoyed me that they were badgering me about it. So I feel like he has to come to that, you know, if he ever decides to become vegan, he has to make that decision for himself. No matter how much that kind of pains me, that's just something that I have to accept. And it's not like I'm about to sort of, you know, divorce the person that I'm committed to for the rest of my life because of that. So it was an interesting discussion. And then we were talking about how having to arrange school dinners for him, he's got an egg allergy, so not my husband, my son. So trying to organise school dinners for him is quite different. You have to kind of go through the company that supplies the catering and organise a special menu. And they couldn't do a vegetarian or vegan egg-free menu for me, so I've had to go with egg-free pescatarian, which was odd to me because they said that no one had ever asked them for that before, which I just find really hard to believe, because there are a lot of vegetarian kids, and surely, you know, egg allergy again is quite a common thing. So it was just a bit odd, and they made it a lot more difficult than it needed to be. So yeah. Currently, he's not vegan, but he eats vegan at home with me, and most of the time he eats vegetarian. But if he's out and about, whilst he's little, it's not down to just me, that's the thing. I'm only 50% of his parents, so you have to kind of make these decisions with a balance and pick your battles a bit. It would be different, I think, if it was something, you know, if you disagree on something that has been integral to your life for a very long time, has been something that, you know, had I been vegan before I met my husband, it might have put me off the fact that he wasn't vegan, but because it's come about in that sort of chronological order, you know, it's a bit different. Well, yeah, I do think vegetarian, in my head, I thought it was a widely recognised menu selection, but then when you actually go out to places and try and, you know, like look at the vegetarian and vegan options, it's really disappointing. Last night in Manchester, I thought Wagamama might be a good option, so I was looking online at the menu, and there's only literally like 2 vegan plates of food that you can have. No dessert, no starter, and 1 side. Like, there are loads of ways that you can make that kind of cooking vegan. So I just think it's really lazy that they don't bother. But yeah, vegetarian definitely should be a widely recognised menu selection. Chronology, what you mean? Just time in general. Time is the biggest constraint on my life, that's for sure. Give me some more likes, guys. I feel sad and alone. Oh. There's a lot of weird situations that happen like that when you have kids, though. There's a lot of things that you think, well, even though this is a decision I make for myself, you have to kind of think about how it impacts on them. And whether your decision, if you think about it in the long term, whether you making that decision for them now will impact on them later, will push them away from that decision later. I kind of think that I'm not someone that subscribes to the idea that if you raise someone eating everything and then it's up to them what they do. I would rather raise them eating vegan, and then if they want to eat meat and dairy later on, then that's fine. But because I don't believe that meat and dairy are the healthiest things for us, it doesn't make sense to me that that would be the default. Does that make sense? Yeah, time is against us all. Time is against us all. Today, I haven't really done anything today. It's already 20 to 6. All I've done is sat on a train from Manchester and then did a bit of coding this afternoon. That's kind of it. Played some dinosaurs. And the day's almost over. It's crazy. What have you guys all done with your Saturdays? Yes, darling.
Can I do a joke for you?
Do a joke?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to show you.
Come on then, show me the joke. How are you going to show me a joke?
It's going to be...
I don't know what's going to happen here, guys. You're going to see a joke, whatever that means. Yeah, I'd like us to reach a place where vegetarian is the default for kids too, definitely. Okay, what's this joke going to be? Hey, do you mean a joke or do you mean a magic trick? Joke or magic trick? Joke or magic trick?
Joke.
Okay.
Magic trick. You have to guess which one's in where the money is.
Oh, okay. Guys, are you ready to guess? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see this performance, so don't waste it. I'm just doing, I'm just learning to code, so I've just been using something called Playground, and I'm just doing Swift today. And yesterday I was doing CSS. Here we go, the trick has started. Have you got your eyes on it? Oh, you just showed us. Now what's going to happen?
You have to choose.
What am I looking for?
The money.
The money. Okay, the money. I reckon it's under this one. Ah, I got it right.
My turn. You have to guess. I have to guess.
Okay.
Right.
Alright, so I'm going to move them around. Alright. No, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. Still not ready. Not ready, not ready, not ready, not ready. Right, I'm going to move them all around. Okay, go.
I guess this thing.
No.
I think it is this one.
Yay! Well done.
My turn. You close your eyes.
Hi, Tommy.
Done.
I'm good. How are you? We're just you're getting a performance of he said it's a joke, but I think it's more of a magic trick. You've lost your money. The money's fallen out. Quick, Albie, look, the money's fallen out. Monty Hall problem. What's that, Ryuki? Yeah, he is a bit, isn't he? He's much more likeable than I am. And as Judge has reminded me, this is like the least liked stream I've ever done. No one is liking it. Alright, which one? I think it's in this one.
Yeah!
I got it.
Your turn to do it, Mum.
I can't do it anymore. Right, you're
No, do it, Mum. You do it. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Are you done?
Yeah.
My turn. You have to close yours.
I can't do any more. We'll do some more after dinner, okay? Yeah?
You know which one?
That one, I saw it. I cheated, I saw it. Yeah, I know what you mean, Tommy. It's weird, isn't it? Well, I do find it easier though than making YouTube videos because at least if there's oh, thanks for the 50 likes by the way.
Where is it?
If there's spontaneous conversation, it's a little bit easier than trying to think of this one. Trying to think of new.
No!
Oh, it's a piece of paper. Trying to think of new stuff to say that sounds like.
Hi,
Prash and Freddie.
You try and think of another one. He said maybe that one. He said maybe this one.
Who said that one? Tommy. Tommy.
Yeah, he's right.
It's going good. We're doing magic trick.
You're right, Tommy. You really are right. I don't believe I'm right.
This is, who are you? Tell them.
Me, and she's Mum. Mummy's.
Do that again. Sorry, I was talking.
Mummy's called Helen, and Mummy's called Lenny.
I have two names, and what's your name?
I'll be White Knight, and I'll be Albie.
Albie White Knight, and Albie Albie. There you go.
Alfie.
And Alfie. No, that's not your name.
Yeah, that's my third name.
Your third name. And how old are you?
5.
You're not 5. You're 4. What's your favourite thing in the world?
Christmas.
Christmas. Cool.
And I like presents too.
And what's your favourite song?
Do you know Despacito? Come back, go.
It's hard work.
Come back, go. My favourite thing is I'm still standing in front of this times. Pieces of my life, you sing with me. I'm still standing
after all this time. Pieces of the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. He is adorable, isn't he?
Dun, 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 dun. You guys always want, Mum.
Oh my God, what is going on with the fibre broadband? I don't even know if we've got fibre broadband actually. Thanks for inviting everyone. Thanks for the likes, Tommy.
You guess which one?
Do you think this guy should have his own channel, shouldn't he really?
I got my own channel.
Have you?
Yeah, about I'll be white knight, I'll be white knight, I'll be white knight, I'll be white.
If you had your own channel,
hi kids.
If you had your own channel, what would you do on it?
I would play a game called Splash the Fight. Splash the Fight, you have to hide from the gun, then you get a different gun. And then you try to steal the gun from him to make 2 or 3.
That sounds complicated.
Or 10.
2 or 3 or 10?
Then you can shoot at them.
Are you getting this? Are you getting this, guys?
And you go.
Do you understand the game? Because I have no idea.
I do.
Can you tell that he watches all the kids' channels, like
But
Ryan's Toys Review?
And do you know, Mum watches Bum Bum Silly.
I watch Bum Bum. Crikey. Crikey Columbus.
Go watch my
Right, yeah. Your dinner's ready now. I'll bring it in. So yeah, this is the energy level that happens in my house constantly. I have to be keeping up with him all the time. It's hard. I'm old. Do you? Judge what are your other
How
games?
does it get over there?
What do you mean, how did it get over here?
I don't know.
Ugh.
No.
That's your dinner, don't
What
say
is
ugh.
that?
It's a pizza. It's a pizza.
Yeah.
Well,
I want to speak to you up there.
yeah, so Tommy, the only reason
I wanna
I'm
speak to
doing
him.
this more is it's
I wanna
Judge's
speak
fault.
to him.
Because
I want to speak
there were
to him.
demands and
I wanna
threats
speak to him.
made.
Mummy,
Yeah,
I want to speak to him.
to him. There's lots of people on there.
But you know, look, this is my iPad when I was a baby. Then, good look off. Then,
Oh, that is a picture of him when he was a baby.
look,
Oh
I can
no!
take a photo
No,
of
you're
him.
FaceTiming us. Don't FaceTime us. You can take photos, but don't FaceTime us. Do you want to take photos?
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll
Of
put the
them.
camera on.
Of them.
Of them. Okay, not to take photos.
Come on, guys.
Come on, guys. Here's the camera. There, you got it there. But you've got to mind not to put your finger over the lens.
Take hello. I got you guys in it.
Oh, I thought you might be Flapjack as well.
I got.
No, I don't mean it, Tommy.
And say hello.
Hello.
Your new friends.
Hi.
Whoa.
Whoa.
I'm looking here in the picture.
Where am I? Here, look. Oh no, it's going to be awful, isn't it? Oh god, it's terrible. It's the worst photo of me ever. Ghost wipe. Oh, I've seen you as ghost wipe. And not all three are yours.
I'm going to do...
What does that mean? That sounds, what's the word? Suspicious, but also intriguing. Yeah, I don't think lots of kids don't sleep. I mean, he sleeps pretty well, but as a baby, God, I think he's jamming up the whole thing with photos. As a baby, he woke up every 2 hours, like for the first 8 months of his life, and that was hard. Yeah, Tommy, well, let me know when good times are, and then we can arrange to do it. I promised Judge that I would sit down and figure out, like, a schedule of at least 2 streams a week. And the reason I did today was because I was on last night and I just felt like if I didn't stream again fairly soon, I would fall off the horse again, if you know what I mean. Oh, did you now? Oh, okay. But now you've like dropped off the Charlie fan thing, is that right?
Whoa.
Why so many shells?
But you can see this. Say hello.
Shells?
Guys, come over. Guys, I want to speak to you. You get a good picture. Hey, why's there some...
What's going on, David Bailey?
There's a big head thing up.
A big head thing up. Let me see. That's your hand that you've got over the lens. If you move your hand down here, there you go.
Guys, here takes a picture of you one of those stuff. Whoa! Oh my god.
Oh my god. Look at her butt. Thanks for the likes, Tommy.
Look, I'm putting more pictures.
Right, look, don't do that because you'll just jam it all up full of nothing.
Oh,
there you go.
Jam.
Go eat that up.
Jam. I'm not trying to.
Okay, in a minute. I think that's a good thing, Judge. And then it's not, because you know what? Despite everything, I have never really fallen out with Charlie. And I've been watching him since the very beginning. He and I used to talk on his streams quite frequently before he became this kind of, I don't know, drama llama, for want of a better word. And I've always been very honest when I've thought that he's doing the wrong thing. And for some reason, and I've been lucky, and he's never sort of attacked me. And I don't know why that is particular, apart from one time when he said that my channel was something or other about, you know, he said I was promoting mental health on my channel. I don't know, but he was just, that was a very reactionary comment. So I've always tried to see a good side in him, because I do think that I think he just gets really caught up in needing the validation. And because I'm quite a tolerant person, and I will tolerate people messing up a lot of times before I'll just cut them out, I think I've given him, well, I suppose I've just been a bit more tolerant than I have with people like Aizul, Mazard, and, you know. But I do think now that, like Tommy's saying, it's just got beyond a joke, and I think the more people are watching it, the more it's feeding that, and it's not good for him either, I don't think. Yes, darling?
Come on, I have a magnet.
Yeah, a magnet.
One of them.
He is cute, isn't he? Like, if anything was going to make people broody, he's not always as cute. He does get crazy sometimes, like all children. So it's not all sunshine and roses. But yeah, I think that's and I think what he's done, the whole thing with Anna is just horrendous. And because I've seen him on streams denying things that I've seen him saying on the previous stream, having seen that with my own eyes, I know that she didn't do what he said she did. And I know that he thinks that that's freedom of speech, but it's really not. And I don't know, it just makes me sad, because I don't think it's necessary to do that to people in order to get the validation that you need. Yeah?
I can't stick this anywhere.
Can't stick it anywhere. Well, the magnet. Well, can you go and eat your dinner and then we'll sort it out afterwards?
I'm going to stick it in. I'm going to stick it on the toaster.
Alright, here you go. Whoa. It's on the toaster. Right, go and eat your dinner now. Go.
I want Ryan on now.
Alright, how do I put it on? I can put it on for you. Yeah, I just think it's all just getting out of hand, and you know, but it's not like anyone telling him that is going to make any difference. And this is a sad thing, you know. I think although consequences are the right thing to happen, I don't think it will have the desired effect. You know.
I'm going to put it with the others.
Hey, Jess. And yeah, I also do think wasting a lot of time watching one person, and I understand how addictive it is. I do, because you know, we all do it. All right, I'm coming. I understand how addictive it can be to get embroiled in, because it's like soap operas, isn't it? You get addicted to the distraction.
I really like it.
I'll just put this on and then we'll go back in the kitchen. You get addicted to the distraction of watching someone else's drama, and it takes you away from your own drama.
You're the best cooker.
Am I? Thanks, darling. God, I'm getting all the compliments while you guys are here. This never normally happens. So yeah, I get it, and I think it's a good thing. I've kind of done it to a certain extent as well. I do have periodic, like, complete breaks from YouTube, because otherwise I do just end up getting sucked in and watching loads of stuff that I'm not really interested in, but I'm just sort of passing the time. That's why I've started learning to code.
Keep them as pets.
You want to watch Ryan, do you? That's why I started learning to code, because I wanted to be doing something useful. So at least if I'm staring at my laptop, I'm actually learning something that I want to learn. So, yes. It's a shame. It really is a shame. And I think the Order 66 stuff is just... Do other people not find it as laughable as I do? I just find it bizarre. Grown adults behaving like that. I mean, it's like some sort of club that you had when you were 10 years old. You know? I had a radio station called Radio WC, and it had a toilet flush for a sound effect. Oh dear. Right, let's search for Ryan, shall we? Let me just put this on for him, and then we can continue. Ryan's Toys Review. He used to call it
Domino. First
No,
up,
I have to do it on here. This is ridiculous.
Mummy.
He used to call it Ryan Toy Marry-All.
Mummy.
Yeah?
First up, Domino.
Pardon? First up, Cogmeno?
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop. Okay. Pie Face Sky Challenge. I'll put it on the TV.
No! On the TV.
I'm putting it on the TV. Here you go, it's on the TV. Right. You're good to go. And I'm good to go. I can hear. Run away, run away, run away. Whew. No, I'm using my laptop for this. Tommy, you missed the kitchen tour. You want to see? What? What? She's doing what? How do you know this? And also, I want to know what covert work you used to do. I'm not gonna like have a go at you about it or anything. I'm just curious. Okay, kitchen. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, this isn't right. Ignore this. Ignore this. Take this away. There's the hob. It's like retro sort of record player thing, and then it's got matching thingy, cream gloss cupboards, and a nice solid oak worktop. Dun, dun. Drawers instead of cupboards for the food to go in, which is super good. Nice white sink. So yeah, and then it's got this wallpaper. It's kind of gold, and then one of those tall radiators. Hipster. So yeah, it's cool. I'm really happy with it. There you go. Quick kitchen tour again. 2 kitchen tours in one broadcast. I know, this is literally, I can't believe this is my kitchen. We have no money at all now, but I have to start saving again. But I think most of the rest of the house we've kind of done ourselves. Well, we didn't do the bathrooms, but like the decorating and stuff. Yeah, it was worth doing it. I know, and I used to be skint all the time. That's why it's so weird for me to have a job that actually affords me to have a mortgage and stuff. It just feels so weird because up until I was 30, I had literally not 2 pennies to rub together, and I just thought that was my life forever. Come on, Judge, spill the tea. I want to know what's going on. See, now I'm getting sucked back into it. I find them like, I find it all very odd that anyone has time to kick up this much drama about literally about nothing. Like literally about nothing. Yeah, but you know, life's not about money, is it? And I know this sounds like it's a massive cliche, and as much as I can sit in my new kitchen and go, oh, it's lovely surroundings, I spend a few days here on, working on my own, and I still feel just as miserable as I did before, because that doesn't kind of fix any of the stuff that's going on inside your mind. Oh wow, Judge. Okay, well, no worries. I wouldn't want you to put you in a position where you feel bad about anything. I just think it's horrible that you were in a situation in the first place where you would be having to do anything on behalf of someone, because I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. I hope there was no pressure put on you to do that in the first place, because that is really out of order. This is all we're just talking about online broadcasting. None of this is material to the world whatsoever. It's just people talking online to each other. That's it. So I'm really glad that you're feeling able to step away for you, because, it is easy to sort of fall down that rabbit hole and get sucked into stuff. Yeah, and now I feel bad about having a kitchen. No, and that's, like, Jess, that's completely right. You can't. The only reason I can afford any of this is because both me and my husband have got into jobs that initially didn't pay very much, and then just worked our butts off to get higher up, and like made a lot of sacrifices to get there. And I'm constantly thinking, am I really happy in my job? Is this really what I want to be doing? But thinking that I'm just doing it because at the moment it's a means to an end, and I don't want to do it forever. Because when I was doing music, I loved every second of doing it, but it just didn't pay the bills, and I was constantly scraping together money for rent. I lived in like houses shared with 6 other random strangers in East London, where people were setting fire to cars outside our house. It was like a really dodgy, awful place to live. And still paying, like, at the time, this was like 8 years ago, still paying £600 a month for a single room in a house share with 6 people that only has like, didn't even have 2 sofas, just had like 1 sofa. Judge, I think, you know, like in fairness, I've probably at the beginning, I probably passed him information about, I remember saying to him, oh, have you noticed Freely's face looks a bit weird lately before the Botox thing? And I didn't intend it to, but that wasn't because she was his enemy. It was just like I saw it and I thought he might know whether there was something weird going on. And I admit, you know, like I've never particularly liked her or Harley being at the forefront of what I consider to be something which should be upheld as a positive movement, as opposed to something that's based around weight and looks and shallow stuff. But I realised that me doing that was just as shallow and really hypocritical looking back. Alright Tommy, take care. And yeah, like, you've got my number, haven't you? Or drop me a Facebook message or something and we'll sort out a time. "5 days of work, Jess." What, you mean you're doing 5 days of work? Sorry, I probably missed something. Well, Judge, I don't think you need to feel bad about that, by the way. I don't think that you did anything compared to what some people seem to be doing. I find, I don't know. I suppose like any gang, isn't it? People want to be in tribes, they want to belong to a club, they want to feel like somebody rates them and finds them useful and notices them, you know? We all have that because we're human. That's just part of what being human is about. Big love, Tommy. And I'll send you my number on Facebook. Yeah? Hold on. Yeah, just don't press anything. Have you already?
Yeah.
No. Are you serious? You better not be telling me porgies.
Alright.
Well done. Do you want something else?
You can get ice cream, that's so good.
You can get an ice cream. Get an ice cream out of the freezer then. Yeah, Jess. That's again like, why are we living to work or are we working to live? It does feel like, you know, if you're going to work every day and just so you can pay for a room, but then what's the point of paying for a room if you never get to enjoy that room?
Can I have an ice block too?
You need to shut the freezer.
Oh, I want an ice block.
No, eat that first and then come back.
Then can I have an ice block?
Maybe. Ice block. Just want to chew on a bit of ice, do you?
I just want to do ice.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Live by the sword, die by the sword, Judge. Live by the sword, die by the sword. That's not really a song, I'm just making it up. I moved out when I was 17, and when I was 21, I had a boyfriend who was 17. Yeah, I know, toy boy. Yes! Alright, go back in there, I'll put it on. And because he was 17, he wasn't allowed to claim benefits. Let me just go and turn the TV down, 1 sec. It's so loud. Yeah, so, and he couldn't claim benefits because he was only 17 and he was living with me, so we both had to live off my benefits, which was ridiculous. So we were just, I ate loads of value pasta and like with tomatoes, just chopped tomatoes with value pasta every day, and I got really fat because I was eating piles of it because that's all we had to eat. Living in more marginal, risky areas doesn't bother me nearly as much as extreme isolation, or at least I feel that way given my present arrangement. I don't know whether, because when we moved out of London, I was terrified that I would feel really isolated here. And in fairness, I don't have any friends here, really. Although Anna lives literally 4 minutes walk from me, so we're going to meet up at some point. But because I can communicate with people online, and I sort of find that easier anyway, I find that I don't really feel isolated in that sense, but I do miss London and just the feeling of knowing that someone's always awake around you. But again, I found that quite intrusive at times. It just depends, because the thing is, like in London, there was tons of stuff to do and I just never did any of it. I would just kind of avoid being in situations where there were lots of people, or if I had to interact with lots of people, because I just didn't really feel like doing it ever. But that council estate in East London was not a good experience at all. It was properly dangerous. I got punched in the face by a well, he wasn't even a cab driver. We got picked up by a guy who wasn't a cab driver, who was posing as a cab driver, me and my friend who was over from Germany. And then he demanded all my money and I gave him everything I had, and then he punched me in the face and split my lip. So I would definitely rather be isolated than have that happen again. Definitely. So many ridiculous stories like that. My name is, well, the name I was given by my parents is Helen, but most of my friends call me Lenny. What's your name, Judge? Apart from, what is it, Ghost, I'm going to say Ghost Poet, Ghost Wipe, and Jack Flap. Jack Flap. Chris. Hi, Chris. Where are you from? London! Whereabouts? Apologies, by the way, if we've had this conversation already. I am just terrible at remembering stuff. I do feel for you guys who are trying to move out now. Like now, with everything as it is, being the renting market as it is right now is just, I don't know. I don't think I would have been able to do it. The only reason I was able to move out is because I could get housing benefit, and it covered. I moved into, well, initially I moved in with my boyfriend who we got a flat through his work, so that's kind of how we were able to move out. You're London as well. Whereabouts do you both live in London? Like, don't tell me the street name, obviously, just general area. I was also going to say, like, I worry that, you know, I'm sure, I mean, this is because hardly anyone watches me on stream. It's not like people are going to be downloading this and then putting it up on YouTube and going, oh, look what she said about Charlie or whatever, because no one cares what I'm saying about anything. But I do, like, I try to maintain the idea that if I would be happy for anyone that I talk about on here to see what I'm saying, and I would stand by it, and I would like to be saying things in the most constructive way possible and have a good rationale for saying them. I don't ever want to be in the position where I'm trying to deny I've said things that I have said, because I don't find, like, lying to me is not an easy thing. I think that's part of, like, being autistic, is I don't really understand that people would, you know, I always assume everyone's telling the truth, which is naive, I know, and with life lessons I'm learning that that's not the case, and I'm trying to get better at, you know, figuring out what people's motivation might be for not being truthful. But I'm trying to make sure that I'm, you know, not doing things that I've criticised other people for doing in the past without realising that I'm doing that, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I know, and I didn't realise he was my fan as well. Is he super rich or something? Had like 10 million crowns next to his name. South West London's lovely. Well, lots of London's lovely. I was in Greenwich before we moved here, but I've also lived in Ealing, and I loved Ealing. And where else have I lived? Prince Regent, which is just opposite the ExCeL Centre. That was the dodgy East London council estate. Harrow. Where else? Streatham. No, I've got no idea. I don't have any understanding of the monetary situation on here. But someone said that it was like thousands of pounds a month or something ridiculous. I don't know why anyone would pay. I mean, unless you were a billionaire. Surely no one gets that much out of it. I don't know. I mean, I would like to understand where that comes from. Now I'm trying to think whether I was saying anything on here when Mark was on that could be construed to be, you know, something that Charlie would like to attack me for. I'm pretty sure I can defend myself if that should happen, but I just can't be bothered. I get trolled enough as it is. That's interesting, feeling genuinely alive rather than just undead. There's a key difference there. I get that completely. I've had some horrible experiences too. I suppose the biggest one being being attacked by 200 people burning down my house. This was a little bit scary. I wonder how he's so wealthy. Well, I think, yeah, that's it. And I'm glad I'm insignificant, because I don't want to be on that radar at all. I just can't. It wouldn't be something, that is not my life, you know. But there have been other people that have been insignificant, like, well, they're not insignificant, but they were to him, like Ellie, the phlegm face. He went for her a bit, didn't he? But I suppose she made a video like actually calling him out specifically, whereas I've just sort of mentioned things in passing on here that I don't think anyone's, you know, watched or noticed or whatever. Yes, I agree, and this is what I'm trying to say, is that I don't want to be, if someone asked me my opinion about something specific, I might use that as a way to sort of talk about things more generally, but I wouldn't like to, you know, the only thing I will say is that I don't feel that slander is right, ever. So I do think there should be consequences, and I think that, but similarly, I also understand why people look for validation online in the ways that they do. So I think that's a good life lesson, really. And I think it's sad because I think he could do a lot more than he thinks he can do with his, with his life, really, and with his, he's got potential to do a lot more than just kind of get himself embroiled in dramas that aren't really about him. It'd be good for him to explore who he is and the things that he could do for himself. So I hope he does do that in the future. But yeah, you're right, Judge. that's what I mean. I hope I haven't said anything so far that is going to sort of get me into trouble with anybody. Because I do definitely try to not say anything that I wouldn't say to somebody's face. Why do you think you would have been a liability? I don't know if anyone would have been an asset in that situation. All of these, there are strange times, aren't there? So, but the whole thing with Monroe, that model I can't remember their surname, the one that got sacked from L'Oreal for talking about talking about racism, in the wake of what happened in Charlottesville. I think that was probably quite insensitive timing, but there are, and again, it's been reduced into a very forgive the pun, black and white argument. People are looking at it in a very polarised fashion, and that doesn't really do anyone any good. I think it's a good opportunity to discuss these things, because there are so many nuances of that debate and loads of other debates that people just haven't explored in their own minds, because we mostly get our views and our opinions from media, from what other people say, rather than looking at loads of sources and then trying to come to our own conclusions. And that's something that it takes time. So obviously people are time poor. They haven't got time to sort of sit down and research every little thing. But it's a shame that it gets so, that people end up dying because of that. We do live in a society where slander is a highly lucrative product. I don't know how we make the consequences real to people. I don't know how I think because there is that detachment that we all have from people online, that because you're behind the screen, because you're not really seeing people, looking them in the eye and seeing them reacting in the moment necessarily, it's easy to have that detachment. It's like when you see starving children on the news, you feel empathy, but it's not the same as if you were there in person, facing it, So that detachment, I think, changes the way that we communicate with each other and the way that we view ourselves in relation to the rest of the world. And it makes stuff like that easier to justify to ourselves, I think. I think climate change is terrifying, and I think we do have to do something now rather than waiting. And I think it is about time that we need to start saying, I'm glad that they've banned petrol cars, because I think you do have to take big steps. I think it does take a point where someone has to step up and say, look, we can't carry on like this. If you want to have a planet left, you need to do something about it now. And it's not going to be nice, and no one's going to like it, because no one likes it when they have to change stuff that they're used to doing. But we just have to live with it. Those are the choices, unfortunately. Yeah, well, I suppose if I was to put myself in an economist camp, I would probably be sort of socialist Marxist, erring on the side of, you know, cooperatives and making the power more spread out amongst the people rather than allowing capitalism to continue. But I'm also not someone that thinks we should be using force and violence to do that. And I know there's obviously an argument to say, well, it's never going to happen because you have to use violence in order to make that happen. So I don't know, I don't have an answer. I'm not saying I have a solution, but I think it's awful that there are 6 people on the planet that have more wealth between them than the rest, you know, like than the rest of most of the undeveloped world, you know. That's, well, I don't know, it's just kind of how humans seem to function. You have a willingness to get beaten. How is you getting beaten providing any value to anything? Oh, Judge, that's so nice of you to say. I'm chuffed to be here, and I'm chuffed that, like, you know, you guys that come and watch my streams and come and chat to me, I really enjoy it. I think I get, you know, I get so much out of doing this. It's not like on YouTube where I make something that I want to be there as a, to like reach out to other people and I get a load of trolls kind of being ridiculous. This is different, it's nice. And I know it's because obviously it's small and I like it like that. I don't have a problem with, even if I just stream to like 4 people every day, that's cool with me. I enjoyed it a lot. Sometimes when you ask questions, it sounds like you're doing market research. Do you work for YouNow? Oh. Do I? What character from Game of Thrones? Bearing in mind, I've only watched, I don't know, maybe 4 Game of Thrones ever. I wanted to do technology, well, music-based technology for mental health. That was what my PhD was going to be. So maybe I'll do that in the future. The thing is, I'm interested in so many things that I think I would find it hard to focus on one of them. Do you know what I mean? I know, do I seem like the kind of person that would be a big Game of Thrones fan? Because people are always shocked that I've not seen it. I did try, but I can't get hold of the first, I can't be bothered to pay for any of this, and because it's not on Netflix or anything, I just haven't watched it. Like, well, tech tools for mental health that are based in music, so using music to manage anxiety or to track moods, influence moods, maybe. So similar, like you could use it for emotional regulation. There could be opportunities to do that. There are lots of different avenues to go down, I think. But in some ways, that's the hard thing, is it's so big. There's so many things that you could do that trying to narrow it down to one small thing. And I got, there was funding through the OU, and I did speak to a supervisor there who was very interested in the idea that I had, but like I say, I didn't know. He just said go away and put a proposal together, and I don't know what a proposal looks like, so I just didn't know. I chickened out, basically. Which is stupid, because the funding was there specifically for music tech and psychology crossover projects. I get what you mean, Judge. I get what you mean. Obviously, I'm not anonymous in this, but I was hesitant to even tell you like what my names are, because I'm sure people can find that out anyway. But you know, I feel like I want to keep this separate from my life sometimes. But I do like having the connection, because I don't find it that easy to maintain not the actual friend. It's not the friendships that are the issue. It's, you know, having to actually meet up with people, make a time to go and do stuff. I tend to be flaky about those things because I like feel safer just staying at home. So it's easier for me to, like, you know, I can talk to you guys on here, can FaceTime people from home. I don't have to go out in the world and deal with all that. Thanks for becoming a fan, Dylan Carlson. You look very ominous in your picture. So, Ryuki, you mean like, but what would be the purpose of the suffering? So what would be the strategy, I suppose, is what I'm asking. Yeah, I had a brilliant idea for an app, and I've got a friend who is a software developer. So we had been talking about, you know, ideas for doing this app, but it also involved, it had a sort of dependency on a third-party bit of tech that hasn't come to fruition yet, and also they weren't sharing APIs, so I couldn't get hold of the information I needed. Sorry if that's all jargony tech speak to anyone. Feel free to tell me to explain myself if I go off into like jargon. Thanks for becoming a fan, Jess. Yeah, you're right. Whenever I do go out and do something, like if I go into London once a week for work, and whenever I do it, it's all right. Like, it's never as bad as I think it's going to be, but I'm usually really tired afterwards, and it takes me a while then to kind of pick myself back up and be ready to go again. So yeah, and it costs money as well. And because I don't have very many friends where I actually live, everything to do with socialising involves going somewhere else. So yeah, I tend to talk myself out of it, or I'll commit myself to things and then just regret it and try and get out of them somehow. Some bastard is going around decapitating cats around here, so I'm keeping my cat in at night at the moment. I think they say they think it might be the same person that was doing it around Croydon. I don't know if you remember that. Just shocking, like horrible. And they decapitated a swan as well a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, you're right, Halcyon. But also the other thing is the cost is massive. No, I didn't have the money for that. I would have had to take out a loan. Maybe when this small person that's just coming in is slightly older. Come here. Do you want to come and say goodbye? Because I'm going to go in a minute. Oh, he needs a wee. If the opportunity comes up again in a few years' time, when he's a bit more sort of, you know, like doing stuff with friends or activities or stuff, and there's more time, then I would like to do it. I don't know if I'm doing it for the right reasons though. I mean, I do want the outcome, obviously, because hold on a sec, because, you know, like it would be beneficial, but I also sort of want to just call myself doctor. Hold on, guys, it'll be 1 minute. Yeah, I'm coming. Judge, can we make a deal? If I start going down a road where I'm saying anything that you think I shouldn't be saying, like we talked about before, can you like just say so? Because I don't want to. Yes, darling. Don't put
I
ice.
can't get that ice block.
I just have to get. Who wants to eat an ice cube? Are you falling over, you silly sausage? Oh, you're a crazy boy. How do I get them out? Oh, look.
Is that
No, that's a straw. Look, that's a really. How square that is.
oh my big.
Oh my big.
The jelly's not going
Oh
on.
my gosh. Look at her butt.
The jelly's not going back on.
Alright, I'll put it back on. Yeah, I want to call myself Doctor. Are you going, Judge? Yes, please do, Judge, because I... What, darling? Oh, okay. Sorry. God, it's really hard. Can you see how difficult it is to have conversations? And now I feel guilty. Yeah, I'm putting it on. Now I feel guilty because, you know... I am. It's coming on now.
Well, it's already on one. That's the lava one.
It's not the lava one. It's a different one. This is a gummy pizza one.
Well, there's lava. Oh, it was lava.
That would be cool. Like, do you remember Doogie Howser? Anyone old enough to remember that? But yeah, so Judge, thank you. That would be really helpful to me. Because if you understand anything about me, I think the main thing to remember is I just don't have it in me to be malicious. So I would never intentionally do something to hurt somebody. Even if they hurt me, I might be angry and I might criticize their arguments, but I would never like deliberately set out to hurt anybody. So I don't want to get caught in a situation where people think that I'm doing that. So yeah. What are you talking about, Ryuki? Verbal expression deficit. I'll try and do a short one again tomorrow if you want me to. I remember I'll try to do it a bit later. I think I was being a little bit overzealous, thinking I could do cooking child dinner and talking at the same time. Yeah, I think you're right. I think people just don't. People think before. No, they think. They don't think before they speak, and I think, and a lot. Right. Okay. So when I'm talking on here, I almost forget that this could go elsewhere. Like, so you kind of just get comfortable talking to people, and you forget that it's essentially a public platform. You can get too comfortable, I think, and I think that's what happens. People forget that they're talking to the world, and that anyone could be watching, and that anyone could be in the chat, that anyone could be looking out, well, like, you know, like you used to, looking out for what, you know, for what's going on to kind of, and then they will tell other people. I find it astonishing when I watch Made in Chelsea, and I know this is it's the only shameful thing that I watch, really, and they all just tell the people that they shouldn't be telling stuff, and it seems like even I know that they shouldn't be doing that, or they deliberately. I know it's all for drama. I know it's not real. I get that. Just saying. I don't understand how they can maintain offline friendships at the same time when they're totally just dropping each other in it the whole time. You're right, Judge. That's what I meant. I was thinking, you know, I would never want to say anything on. I mean, that's kind of how I try to live my life anyway. I wouldn't want to say anything about someone behind their back that I wouldn't say to them. Because, well, it's just not a nice thing to do, is it? It's not the right thing to do, I don't think. I would very vehemently defend or attack an argument perhaps, but not the person. Another thing is people find it difficult to separate the person from the opinion. And that's not helpful either. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to go and make sure my child's not choking on an ice cube, for starters, and have a nice cuddle with him. And yeah, have some dinner and stuff. So, I do know about projection. It's going on all over the shop. But yeah, so I might come back tomorrow. If I do, how much notice is preferable, Judge, just to make sure I'm keeping you happy. But I will also set up like a couple of regular slots, I think. And it'll be good to have, if anyone's got particular things they want to discuss, tweet me or let me know somehow and we can discuss them. I'll be happy to do Google Hangouts as well if people are interested in doing, like, joining in a conversation. A group conversation. I will use my wall. Stop laughing at me, you're so mean. Cool, Jess, I'll see you later. Thanks, Ryuki, and anyone else who's still here. Watermelon, who didn't speak, but hi and bye. And Halcyon Days, good to speak to you all. We'll work it out, we will work it out. Alright, big love peeps, peace out. I'll speak to you soon.